Pacific Drums and Percussion presents Get It Started with Daru Jones and Daru's special guest, Chris Coleman and Will Kennedy. And now, live from Barnfire Creative in Nashville, let's get it started.
Greetings, Daru Jones here. We got a special show today. Thank you guys for your patience. My apologies for the delay, technical difficulties, but we're here. We got some great, amazing guests. I want to shout out my co-host Jules Thomas. She's not in the frame. I can see her, but y'all can't see her. I was trying to play a piece of one of my favorite songs by one of our guests. His name is Will Kennedy, the great Will Kennedy. You know what I'm saying? One of my favorite drummers. Innovative, very innovative. And one of the things that I like about Will, you know, when you hear records, the groove I was kind of, it wasn't like exactly like Will, it was my own interpretation, but it was from a project called Greenhouse. And I think it was the title track. And what I like about Will is when you hear the Yellowjackets, when the song comes on, sometimes they have percussions playing. And then when the music come in, you think you're going to hear one thing, and Will plays the total opposite. So he's like the groove and beat maker, you know, one of the best that's ever done it, you know what I'm saying? And our other guest today is my good brother, you know, 𝗚𝗛𝗪 brother from Michigan, my big brother, Chris Coleman, you know what I'm saying? We go back. We got a lot of history, so I'm very excited about the guests we have today. Again, thank you guys for your patience. We appreciate it. I want to shout out the studio, Bonfire. My brother Ben, he's here. He's got everything rigged up. And again, I want to apologize for the delay, but we're here. And thank you guys for tuning in. We had to take January off because my 2021 was a little busy. You know, I had traveled. I think I drove up to Detroit for Christmas, and I went from there to Colorado. I had some work out there with DJ Logic, Mono Neon, and Vernon Reed from Living Color. Then I went from there to LA, and I was in LA for a month. So we had to push the show back, but I'm glad we're back now. It's a new year, new things, you know, new people in positions, you know what I'm saying, in the state. So hopefully we're hoping things turn around and hope everybody is being safe. It feels like things are opening back up. And but I'm still gonna wear my mask. I got it in my pocket, but I don't have it. wear your mask when you can. But yeah, take the vaccine. You know what I'm saying? Make sure it's legit. But yeah, I'm grateful to be alive, and we got a good topic today. You know, today's topic. Yeah, what is today's topic? How to keep a gig. As musicians and artists, you want to keep your gig because the next man is waiting to take it from you. So you got to do what you got to do to keep it. But yeah, so before we get into the topic, I want to talk about the brands that I'm using today. Today I'm using the Daru Jones DJNY PDP signature drum kit. Yours truly. I don't know if you guys can see it because of the angles. I got everything kind of angled a certain way, but maybe I'll take the snare drum off so you can see the vibe. So yeah, crispy, flossy, you know what I'm saying? The gold sparkle with the black fade. And these are available at your Sweetwater. You know, you can go to Sweetwater and Guitar Center. Just go to Google and type in Daru Jones signature drum kit. And they also have them at some mom and pop stores throughout the states and throughout actually the world. So thank you guys for those that purchased it. I'm using those, and I'm a Remo endorser. I play Remo heads. A head drumsticks, and I'm actually using the Daru Jones Leo stick model. There's some claws on here, and these are also available too. You can get these online and in some stores. This is the model too with the white, and the whole vibe is, you know, Leo. I was born in August, so as y'all can see, the beast. I'm a ภิ Symphony endorsee, so I'm actually using my signature hi-hats. Looks like a vinyl. You know what I'm saying? The 12 size 12. And yeah, what else we got? LP percussions, Latin percussion. Got a block. I got a wood block, tambourine, and also a cowbell. And last but not least, big fat snare drum. You know what I'm saying? Hey, these are actually 𝗟𝗏𝗡𝗘𝗗. That's my label, and they basically just, you know, customize and put my logo on top of the one of their regular, you know, muffles. And basically, I'm gonna show y'all how the sound is. Y'all can hear it through this microphone, but basically without the muffle, sounds like this. It's more hollow. Then I like to use these tambos to kind of muffle the sound down a little bit more. Then watch how I sound now. A little bit more on the muffle side. So, you know, when you're playing gigs, sometimes you're playing rock and roll gigs, and you know, depending on the tuning, a lot of times drums, they like to play with the head really flat, so the drums have like a really punchy low end. So with these, you can avoid like tuning it. You can just put this on, and that way you're not wasting the vocalist time or people time trying to tune in between songs and whatnot. But yep, that's what I'm using today. So let's get down to the topic. How can I keep my gig? So yeah, I wanted to talk about my experience. This is such a good topic. One of the things that I've learned, you know, during my career, you know, when I started dancing and getting bigger gigs, learning, you know, you got to be on time. Unfortunately, today doesn't count because we started this show late. But we're normally on time for the most part. But one of the things that I learned that make an impression, it's just like having a regular 9 to 5. You know what I'm saying? This is my 9, well, really 24 hours. My career and what we do as musicians, when you're independent, it's not just 9 to, it's just not 9 to 5. It's like 24 hours. So just like when you did work the regular, you know, like a regular 9 to 5, one of the things out there requires for you to be on time. So the same thing, you know, when you on the gig, when you have rehearsals, be on time. Elementary, you know what I'm saying? That way you can be ready when it's time for you to play your part. Another thing, what I've learned too, how to keep a gig is how you carry yourself, your mannerisms. You know, saying yes, ma'am, no, sir. All that is good because, you know, although we live in a new world right now where there's a lot of different codes when you communicating with people, but using just the basics, that will always get you a long way. When you're very respectable, you know what I'm saying? Acknowledging your boss, because your boss, he has authority over you. You know what I'm saying? He hired you, but you got to still respect him in a position, because there's a zillion of the drummers out there that would love to be in your position. So, you know, having skills is cool, you know, but that's not always the thing that's going to help you keep your gig. So be on time, be, you know, mannerable. Another thing too, what you want to learn when you get opportunities to tour, people they finding out how your attitude and vibe is even before they put you on a tour, because you got to understand sometimes you're on a tour bus and you gotta you know you gotta see if you can be around somebody's attitude. Sometimes people they get moody and cranky because they're not at you know not in a familiar setting. So just you know, it's a time for everything. It's the time to be, you know, laugh and adapt to your environment, but then it's a time for business. But just you know, just try to you know make sure you watch how you move and make an impression where people be like, okay, this guy I know if I'm on a tour bus, he's gonna be easygoing and cool to be around. That's gonna allow you to keep your gig. And what else? Learning your parts. You know what I'm saying? Being prepared. That's the most important thing. You know, depending on the gig, you know, if you're playing some jazz where they just allow you to be, you know, improv and just come in and wing it, that's cool. But for the most part, you want to make sure that you're giving the boss what he wants. So how to do that when you have the music, prepare on your own. Make sure you practice on your own before you get to band rehearsal. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you do that. That way you're prepared and you keep your gig. And those are just the basics. And for the most part, I always tell people it's the relationships. You want to have those relationships. Try to get those out the gate, because that's what's going to keep you in the mix. Because like I said, if you slack on one of those things, somebody else is waiting to take your spot. So without any further ado, hope that helps, you know, you guys a little bit. And I'm looking forward, you know, to seeing with my first guest, my good friend, my homeboy, Chris Coleman's coming up in a second. And let's hear, this brother's done it all. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the most versatile drummers that I know, and I had the honor. It's funny, I actually met Chris as a kid. I remember I've gotten a chance to do a stage play. Back in the days, those were big in the Midwest. They would basically have they would have like a couple guest star people, you know, that would like this particular play, Vanessa Bell Armstrong, she's a famous gospel legend, you know what I'm saying? She was a part of this gospel play, and we was doing it in Saginaw, Michigan, and I was a part of a jazz gospel trio, you know what I'm saying? And that was kind of big back then because I grew up Pentecostal, and I think me and Chris, we both grew up Pentecostal. We would go to the same church conventions and stuff. But yeah, we kind of came in the same similar strict. You couldn't listen to anything outside of gospel. They considered it secular and no. But to make a long story short, those plays, the gospel plays, were really big back in the day. So they would basically have a band. The band would be in the pit, and then they would act on stage. And then when the show was over, they would bring everybody up. And the gospel trio that I was playing with, one of the members, his name was Terrence Hurd. I think he's from Saginaw. Really, really good friend of mine. Let's keep our prayers up for that brother, because I think he just had one of his legs amputated. But yeah, it was him. And I'll never forget when we were at sound check, he was like, yo, have you heard of Chris Coleman? I think Chris might have been 8. I got a few years over Chris, but it was like, yo, who's this Chris Coleman? Then it was like, let him play. And he got on the drums and he was 8. He was either 8 or 10. And I couldn't believe it what I saw. I couldn't, but I'm gonna let me and Chris talk so you guys, you can fill y'all in on our history. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Coleman.
What's up, Daru?
Yo, what up, my brother?
What's up, man?
Man, thank you so much for your patience, and thank you so much for being available today, bro.
No worries, man. You family. You know how far we go back, bro.
Yes. How you feeling? How you feeling, bro?
I'm good, man. One day at a time, you know, just trying to navigate through all this craziness of life right now. So I'm just like everybody else, you know, everybody has to adjust some kind of way, you know. So, but other than that, man, it's all good. It's all good.
Okay. So what do you find yourself doing nowadays, even through the pandemic? Are you doing lessons, or like what have you been doing?
I've been doing mobile sessions. You know, I got my recording set up, Logic and interface, you know, the whole nine, Sennheiser mics and the Logitech 4K cams and, you know, the whole deal. Session work back at home, Michigan, and doing virtual lessons, through Meet, Zoom, FaceTime, however I can, however the student or what's best for the student. Some people in certain countries can't get certain things, you know what I'm saying? So you got to make adjustments. Other than that, man, I found this to be a kind of a blessing in disguise, because it's unfortunate that we've lost lives, that we've lost of our fellow countrymen and, our friends and family, that type of thing. Of course, very sensitive to that. But at the same time, it's kind of a blessing, because I've been able to rest, it's like the last 25 years, I've been going nonstop, like, averaging 150,000 miles a year traveling and flying for work. And it's taxing on the body. You don't realize it until you slow down. And it's like, I think for the first 8 months, I just slept, bro.
Oh my God.
It's like, I was just hibernating, man. And it felt so good to kind of have a normal sleeping. I was like, wow, this is what humans should do, this type of thing.
Bro, we've been going, not to cut you off, we've been going hard since we were kids, bro.
Yep.
So, it's such a blessing, man. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. And a lot of people don't even know, but I appreciate it. And I've been waiting on this time. I'm still waiting for us to officially be together in person, but it's so cool just seeing all my Michigan comrades like Bubby and Eddie Brown.
Yeah.
We need to do like a short documentary or something just on, our Michigan comrades like 𝗟𝗓𝗪𝗓, because we all seen each other come up. You know what I'm saying? And
there's a lot more of us too. A lot more of us.
And it's such a blessing because you were one of the people that I stayed in touch with, through our transition. I remember defaultly, it was crazy how we both ended up playing for the same 𝗚𝗘𝗧 𝗜𝗧 drum off, and you actually won. I'm glad. I said to myself, like I made it to Detroit. I was in the D finals, but I was like, I'm glad I didn't make it to the finals because. You know what I'm saying? I had to go
bro, hey, that would have been epic because if you showed up, I'd have been like, oh no, like he knows all of my stuff, like he know my whole bag, like this like my brother,
Yes,
like Cheetos and corn feet type. Hanging out all day and all night, So
me and Chris, before they started saying shed, we were saying that way back before there was a shed, before there was gospel chops, because we would go to church playing these chops and we would get chewed out.
Yep.
We could not play, and it was crazy because we had one of my mentors. His name is Michael Lee. He's one of my biggest influences as a kid.
Yes, sir.
And we used to have jams. It was me, Mike, and Chris. Chris was always on a whole nother planet. But we just those sheds that we would do, those double and sometimes triple drum sheds, it was exciting. Like we was getting it in, and we started eventually learning about the different drummers like Vinny. And it's funny because back in the days, we used to designate a certain drummer to kind of like take their catalog and be that. So I think my idol was like Vinny, so I was a Vinny and Chris was a Virgil. You put me on the Virgil 𝗏𝗏.
Yeah.
And you was used to be Steve Smith. That was your dude.
Yeah.
That was your dude.
Yeah. And Dennis was my guy.
And Dennis. And Chris could play all that stuff back then. So it's so cool to see my brother, what he's done, from you can let people know a little bit of your background, like the stuff that you've done.
Well, it's like you said, we both started out in church. Let's see, I'm trying to think of some Jeffrey LaValle and
yes.
Harris Memorial.
I'm even talking about like Ford. I'm even talking about like the people that's listed like Prince and the Beck and like all.
Okay. Well, as far as that, for me, I have to say it started like after 2002, 2003. I started playing with Israel and New Breed. We toured around. We got the DVD. It was like that was my gospel. Sort of like like that was like the pinnacle for me, you know, as far as gospel music. And then life just took a turn for me, and then I was able to start playing a lot of jazz. Started out with 𝗟𝗓𝗪𝗓, and then moved to 𝗬𝗏𝗪𝗓, Stanley Clarke, David Sanborn. I hit, you know, a lot of that jazz circuit, Sheila E. And then, you know, moved up to like New Kids on the Block and
Oh my
Neo,
God.
Stevie Wonder, Christina Aguilera, Chaka Khan. God, Jesus. Let's see who else. Prince, of course. Look, I'm trying
That
to.
is
Let me see.
wow.
Yeah, it's a few more. I'm probably gonna forget a few. I've been truly blessed, man. But it, you know, as you and I were little, you remember we used to talk about this about
Hmm.
you know, you have to take it serious. Like if this is something, if this is something that you want to do, if it's really a true passion,
Hmm.
it shouldn't be hard to be sold out. You know what I'm saying? To what you
Yes,
do.
yes.
And I believe because you sell out, because you're disciplined, because you apply yourself and you stay diligent, you stay true to yourself, I feel like the universe and will open up doors as you go and as you grow, you know, that type of thing. So one thing, you know, what do they say? Breakthrough is one good decision after another. You know, it's not like some people get lucky, you know, and they get that one thing and it just takes care of them for life. But that's so one in a million sometimes, you know. So
Yes.
um, it's very rare to hear that, you know. So the rest of us, we gotta grind, you know. We gotta take it one day at a time. So yeah, man, that's just a few, but I'm definitely grateful, man. Definitely grateful.
Man, I'm so proud because I know we've been as kids and it's coming up. We've been this is stuff that we've always wanted to do. And I think
Mhm.
there's a question Jules said that somebody wanted to ask. What's the question, Jules?
Okay,
It should pop up on your screen, Chris.
okay.
You've
You've done
done
so
several.
genres
You
of
see it?
music work. I'm like that from. Uh, do I have any advice for people who only? Let me read the question. It says, "You've done several genres of music work. I'm like that. From rap to country. Do you have any advice for people who say they only want to play what they like?" My advice is, first of all, follow your heart. You have to follow your heart. But at the same time, you have to balance that with reality. If you say you're a professional musician and you need to pay your bills, but you only like to play rock music, nothing wrong with that. Play all the rock music you want, but if the rock is not calling, if the rock is not paying, and you claim to be a professional musician, but there's other genres that you can work. You know, if rock is Monday, jazz could be Tuesday, country could be Wednesday. You know, reggae could be Thursday. You know, this type of thing. So my encouragement is try to have an open mind. You know, I love what I love. I love a lot of styles of music. I love, you know, jazz. And for one, there's one particular song I want to ask our next hero. He's both of our heroes, me and Daryl's hero.
Yes.
When he comes on, I got a particular song that was such a favorite of mine that I put it on my record. um, so although I love jazz, guess what? Chaka was calling. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to play and cross all of these lines of music, you know? So I encourage everybody to try to keep an open mind as much as possible.
Facts. That's a good response, Chris. I definitely agree 100%. Yeah. I'm glad. I always tell people like I'm glad that we came up when we did because we got exposed to the non YouTube era, which is not there's nothing
Hmm.
wrong with it. But we had to figure out we had to learn how to transcribe just from our ear. You know, there was
Yeah.
no cheat codes, no cheat codes, and we had to like what I was saying like on previous interviews, like when rest in peace Chick Corea, one of my favorite pianists passed away. But when we
Oh
would get
yeah,
those albums like
yeah.
the electric band, they
Mhm.
would basically Chick would use the same, all the musicians on the records, they would do solo records. And they would all use the same musicians. So like when
Yep.
𝗟𝗏𝗪𝗘 would do his record or John Patitucci, he was using he was using Dave Weckl and Vinnie Colaiuta, sometimes
Yeah.
Erskine. And a lot of times
Hmm.
they played the same drums. But
Yep.
how you can recognize that person's track that they were on was by the way that they tune it and their touch. You knew Vinny had a
Yep.
certain type of tuning and his touch. So we learned that early, and I think it gave us an advantage. That's why Chris is such a dynamic drummer, and myself, we give God the glory, of course, but we're we just came up at a time where you had to figure things out.
Yeah, we had to figure it out, man.
No
And
cheat codes. And
the thing was, and a lot of it, especially if I could speak for myself, like I didn't really hone in on the reading skills. So I was like, when I went to Drummers Collective, and I was 19 at that point. You know what I'm saying? But I was already touring and recording by then, so I could say that the ears were way, like a greater development than my understanding. And it took a while for the understanding to come up to par with the, you know what I'm saying, with the ears, but they go hand in hand. So I'm grateful for that beginning, because at the end of the day, music is a personal expression, and you never want to lose the heart or passion about it. But you know what I say when I say this to you, you can understand when I say you got to earn it, man.
Oh my God.
You got to earn your sound, man. You got to earn it. You got to earn your sound,
Yo, and a lot of people, they see when certain people, they get successful, and I know Chris is on the show, so I want to definitely give my flowers, because he's definitely one of the biggest influences, modern drummers, period. And I'm not insecure. I can give him his flowers. It's all good. We both got our own lane. You know what I'm saying? We both have a specialty. And God bless us, to specialize and do what we do in different areas. But it was just so cool just to see, what he's done. And like he said, we had to eventually, although we were inspired by our heroes, we knew at some point we had to develop our own voice. You know what I'm saying? And our own vocabulary, if we wanted to be like the drummers that we looked up to, which like our next guest. So there's nothing wrong with, like, when you're a kid and you're a teenager, you do things that teenagers and kids do. You want to be like your heroes. But at some point, when you grow up and you start paying your own bills, you come into your manhood, you ought to want to get your own thing. You know what I'm saying? So you never know what it took Chris to get to where he's at. And it's just so cool because, like I said, he's one of the few drummers out of the Midwest that I stayed in touch. I remember when Chris, when he won the 𝗚𝗘𝗧 𝗜𝗧 drum off, we both had moved out of Michigan. He had moved to Atlanta. I think he was in Atlanta. And the crazy thing, we had both put out our first solo records. You had a solo record you put out. And I remember driving to Atlanta, and I gave Chris my CD. Came out in 2001, and then Chris gave me his CD, and we were just like, yo, we both were like already entrepreneurs early, you know what I'm saying? Because we knew that, our talents were going to be bigger than the church. No diss, we're thankful for our foundation, but we knew that God had a bigger mission for us. And I'm so grateful that he took a chance, and he was an example. He was an example, you know what I'm saying? Because if we can do it, y'all can do it too. Because we came from nothing, you know what I'm saying? We came from playing mix-mac drums in the church and using mix-mac pair of sticks. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get it.
Yes, sir. We came from tying shoestrings to the bass drum around the throne. So because the bass spurs are broken, and we couldn't find the parts because the drums were so old.
Yeah, and remember when we had to take the wire hangers when we would run out of sticks? Yo, we would take the hangers and make sticks out of them to use them for the kit because so back in the days we played what they call shout music. It's worship music. It's a little bit different nowadays, but back in the days we had to play that pocket 2 and 4 at a loud volume, and that means we were breaking them 5A or 5B sticks. All you see was wood everywhere. So when we would run out of sticks, we had to go get the hangers and make the hangers the drumsticks. So Chris, just to stick with on the topic, do you have any advice for the tie-in, the topic about how can drummers keep their gig? Anything you want to say on that?
Yeah, I love some of the points you made earlier. I was checking it out, and I echo a lot of what you're saying. At the end of the day, man, to keep a gig, you have to be the ultimate team player. And I can't wait to hear Will's take on this because he's one of the most unselfish musicians, on the face of this planet. I've always had such a great respect, and we're gonna talk about that one song. But yeah, man, you got to be the ultimate team player, man. And it's there was something that was given to me by one of my heroes when I was younger. he said, you know, you are your business. You know, that means you are your business on and off the drums. You know, you are your brand on and off the drums. So when you on the drums, you doing your thing. You think, oh, all right, great. You know, yeah, I'm in front of the lights. Everybody's like, wow, yeah, it sounds good. But as soon as you get off the drums, you're still you. You're still your brand. So when you be on a tour bus and you ate somebody else's food, like you were saying, stuff like this, just being courteous, man, like, you know, not being late, like it happens, man. Trust me, I've been late. I've come close to, you know, they like, yo, man, like you got one more time, like, bro, I'm sorry, I'm just tired of, and then at the end, they just like, stop making excuses and just fix it. You know, get it right. It's like, what's more important to you, the career, the longevity, you know, or just the hype, you know? Last thing you want to do is create a bad name for yourself, because sometimes actually, that's true all the time. Not sometimes, but your bad name travels faster than a good name, you know?
Facts.
So
Facts.
you got to keep your nose clean, man. And you got to always think like, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. You know, if you are that type of person and you bringing it, doing your job, bruh, I don't think you're going to have a problem keeping gigs, you know?
Facts. Yeah, I like what you said on that note, and I think it's all about having that some type of spiritual grounding. You know, I'm not saying you need to be super, you know, like born again, but some type of, you know, foundation. You know, that's really helpful because it's going to help you with your decision making. You know what I'm saying? I know we all have our vices. People like to do what they do. Some people like to smoke, they like to drink, but you got to have that stuff under control when you get in your work environments, and don't let the drugs or the drinking dictate how you behave, because you can't be like that when you get on stage. You can, but it might, you know what I'm saying, it might affect how you act when you're off the stage. So all those things, just try to have a balance, and definitely there's something that you said I wanted to add to it, but it just slipped my mind. But yeah, you spot on, Chris. Spot on, Chris. Man. I'm so excited, and congratulations for your new signature symbol that came out. That's dope.
Oh, thank you, man. You too, bro. You killing it. I'm about to go like Daru all the way down. I'm like looking for my sweatshirt. Give me some drum cymbals. Like I need to give me a Kango. I need to give me some Adidas.
Man, oh my God.
My bro doing big things.
I appreciate it, bro. We literally could do like an hour a piece with you and an hour. Because we got so much to talk about. But this is what I want to bring up. When you started getting those gigs, and I want to say this: everybody can play. Everybody got the chops. Even whether they went to the Drummios and the YouTubes to learn how to figure this stuff out. But when Chris named off all the artists that he worked with, it wasn't all because of the chops. It was because of other things too.
2%
because of his,
not even that.
But it was because of the reputation. You only have one rep. You can always clean it up. We human. We all make mistakes, but it's what you do to fix it. You can always clean up your reputation, but just think about that. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure, because that's how we get these gigs, because we get recommendations. If you do good work, it's going to follow you. It's going to follow you. So
it will follow you.
Yeah. You got anything else you want to add, brother?
Yeah, I'm glad you said it, because I can kind of tie it what I had to say, you know, with what you said. The thing is, it's like people get happy when they get the first gig, and my attitude is always like, hey, congratulations. Now you got to keep it, you know, and in keeping it, now you got to think either I gotta rock this until I'm in my pine box, you know, until I make my transition, or I have to nail this gig in such a way that I allow it to be the stepping stone to the next situation, because I feel like I didn't move forward until I was able to maximize where I was. You know what I'm saying? Until I took it serious, until I asked all the questions. I went through all the trials and tribulations on this gig. I went through all the learning lessons, and I didn't get an attitude. I made my adjustments, you know. And I did my best to keep my relationship with the artists and the management and the band and my team up to par as much as possible. And it's like, I feel like when you're able to do that, it's funny how the timing of everything always works out. I never had to say I quit. It's just like, oh, the artist is busy doing something. Well, I need to work. Well, a new gig opens up. It's paying more money, but it's a bigger responsibility. So now I got to start all over again. But it's like, man, once you get into the flow and you understand that it's about a career, it's about about longevity. I got a 10-year-old son, that type of thing. So it's like, I got to think about this before I make or say, just let my mouth pop off or show my attitude, or I'm gonna show them what I got, or man, I'm gonna let them have it. It's like, yeah, they're gonna let you have it too, right? And you ain't gonna like it.
I want to add to that too, bro. I want to add, not to cut you off. So if the one thing too, just like when you work in a job and you get a promotion or you get another opportunity, don't just burn the bridge. You know what I'm saying? Because you get an opportunity. Right. Make sure you just respectfully be like, hey, just be adults. We grown people. This is what's happening. And if you do it the right way, your boss, he's gonna respect that. He's gonna respect that because you never know. You might lose that new opportunity and you might have to go back. But if you burn the bridge, you ain't gonna be able to go back because the way that you transition. So it's important when you get the big gigs. I know you have to do it too, Chris. I had to do the same thing because I've had some transitions in my career. When I graduated from the hip hop to rock and roll, when I started working with Jack, I was working with Tyler. I had like 4 people I was rotating, and that totally took my whole schedule. And I had to I think one of the situations it was a little funny, but everybody else was pretty cool. When they seen the bigger picture. So yeah, it's all about when you make those transitions, just do it in a way where if you got to go back, you can, and you're not begging. You don't want to be in a position where you got to beg. That's not a good look. That's not a good look. So
But you also want to be on the call list too. First on the call list, you got to keep your nose clean. You got to keep the bridges tight. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. Yep. Well, brother Chris, I thank you so much for your patience and your time and your knowledge. I'm looking forward to us getting together, in person. And congratulations. Oh yeah, Jules is giving all your
Instagram. You can check me out on Instagram. _CRC_global.
We have one more question, Jules, before Chris leaves. You got one more question, Jules?
How did you manage your mental and physical health when you are out on the road for long periods of time? Woo, brother, sisters. you have to. I'm just saying like this: discipline. I could just sum it up like that. I know I got to move on, but discipline, man. It's like. It's hard. It is hard, because of the schedule. You can't always eat at 6 p.m. and it's not wise to eat after 8 and then lay down. I'm just getting off the stage at 11:30. We were in sound check from 12 noon to 5. Then we had technical problems. We had to go back. We were late because the van didn't pick us up on time or the tour bus, or we were stuck in traffic. And it's like, I haven't eaten all day. And the only thing that's available is a burger. And it's like you eat this burger and then you can't really sleep because you're full of beef, right? But then you like, I should hit this gym before lobby call, but you like, man, I need to snooze. I need to finish my nap out. You gotta figure it out. You gotta be disciplined. You have to figure out how to manage a diet on the road. Like I had microwavable or frozen vegetables, on my rider. And I had rice bowls and salmon and just try to eat healthy, if I have to eat late at night, that type of thing. So it's all kinds of things you have to, think about. But at the end of the day, whatever it is going to require discipline. So you just got to simply discipline yourself to continue or to meet the goals that you set for yourself.
Yes, that's facts. And to add on to that too, because I have developed a little bit of anxiety when I lost my dad a few years back. But one of the things that I try to do is, check in if I'm on tour, call like my mom or somebody that I'm close to. Stay in touch with your people on a daily basis, and you never know, that can reflect your attitude, because we all get homesick and we get moody and we don't know why. You know what I'm saying? That's because sometimes we get homesick. But everything what Chris just said, and just keeping in touch with, if you got a spouse or anybody that you're close to, just take out that time. And also, if you're a prayer warrior, take out that self-care and do the prayer meditation. It helps. And before I let Chris go, I just want us both to shout out, one of our heroes from Detroit. His name is Dana Davis.
Yes, Dana Davis.
Yeah, I wanted to shout out our Michigan crew. Dana, like we look up to Dana, and Dana, you know, that's our big brother. You know, he played with a group called the Winans. You know, we want to shout out '𝗟𝗡𝗪𝗓, another amazing drummer.
Myron
Bell. These are people that we grew up seeing.
Marquise.
Who else was that?
Marquise. Let's see.
I know Kareem Riggins.
Oh my God. Don't let me forget no names. Day.
Day.
God, man, they gonna kill us.
Michael Williams.
Names.
Michael Williams.
Marvin McCooty. God bless. Rest in peace. Rest in heaven. God, I should have put the list together before. It's so many, man. Detroit is full of. Just shout out to everybody from Michigan. Dorico Watson. You know, he's from the other side of the state. You know, tons of musicians, man.
And we got our bass player. We got, like I said, Bubby. You know what I'm saying? Lewis, bass player. We got Eric, Eddie Brown.
Yeah,
Roger Jones, man, Terrence Hurd, so many other people. So many. But yeah, we want to definitely shout out our Michigan comrades. We appreciate y'all for being around us for our upbringing. And Chris, I wish you a beautiful day. Also, congratulations for your next movements in life. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, brother.
Yep. And let's see what our next guest is going to talk about. Yep.
Oh, for sure, man. Love you, bro. God bless you too.
Love you too, bro. God bless you. Thank you.
Right.
Yep. Cool. Yo, my head is cracked. It's so good. It's so cool to see my brother, man, and just where we both come from. He's done excellent for his career, and I was able to see it happen in real time, and we both were able, you know, to support each other, and that's a blessing, you know, when you can grow with somebody and there's no weird frequencies or there's no jealousy. Anytime he advances in his career, I can congratulate him without any being insecure, and he's always been the same for me. So I believe that's why the Creator has moved on our behalf and blessed us to get in certain positions, and we want to pass it down because we're not going to always be here. So we want to pass it down to the next generation. And without any further ado, we got one of my influences. I need to add put him first on my drummer influences, but he's a big influence on just the way that he would craft his rhythms, and he's just a good guy, very spiritual cat. Ladies and gentlemen, Will Kennedy.
Can I get my Daru on?
Yo.
Hey, I'd like to do my Scotch tape endorsement.
Yeah, you're gonna be one of the first to get the Scotch endorsement. That's how you feel, brother.
And my scissors, I got my Scotch scissors. No.
Oh my God, y'all! We are in the presence of royalty right now. If you don't know, do your Googles. This is the great Will Kennedy.
Man, shout out. I'm well. I'm well. So good to see you, man. And really big hug to Chris Coleman, man. I love him to life. A beautiful brother. I'm sorry to get a chance to be on screen with him, but God bless him. Love you, Chris. Woohoo!
He can hear you. He's backstage. He's still there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you know, the whole big connection between the three of us here, man, is that GCS, that Guitar Center competition. I was the judge when he won the final.
What?
I was one of the judges. That's right.
Oh my God. God is good. God is so good.
Man. So that was wrapped up into a beautiful bow right there at the finals, man. I was right there at the end with him.
Wow, you almost would have seen us both because we both advanced. You know, we both advanced, but I'm glad I didn't have to go up against our brother because I don't know. We would have been brothers in Christ, but
no, I'll tell you this. I'm glad I wasn't on the stage for that one because Chris took it home. He took it home.
So Will, for the people that just joining in, do you want to give them? Can you give them a little bit of history on some things that you've done career wise and whatever you want to say?
Man, I'm a Oaktown boy. I'm from Oakland, California, and when I was young, I wanted to be Will Kennedy funk drummer. I was the funk drummer specialist, right, in Oakland, and Oakland, San Francisco Bay Area, and I had a drum teacher that was like, yeah, you know what? Look, let me tell you something. That's really nice that you like the funk, and that's a big part of that's a big footprint you stepping in. But there's a little bit more to life than that, and there's a little bit more depth to the music than just the funk, you know. And you know, you need to go to Africa, which you know, there's a lot of Africa in the funk, but you also need to go to Brazil. You know, you need to you know what a samba is? Let me tell you what a samba.
Oh my God.
You know what a bayon is? Do you know what a sango? You know what sango is, brother? And I was like, wow, okay. Suddenly, you know, poof, mind blown. And little did I know that my funk playing would improve, would blossom when I started adding these other components to it, you know? So I'm a little off subject here, but
no, it's
music,
all good. We want people to hear your you know, some of your background. Yeah.
Amen. Music is the story, and music is the pulse of life, and it's so wonderful to share the screen with you brothers who have just been doing things and turning the world upside down as we discover ourselves, we discover our story, and bring our history to the future, and I'm doing the same. And thank goodness that you guys spoke of reputation and legacy. Thank goodness that the Lord has guided me to keep it positive, and making sure that legacy is something uplifting to people. That reputation is something that is, like I said, uplifting to folks. And dude, I join. You talk about flowers, man. I'm bringing my flowers. You know, I'm sorry
they kind of went bad.
I love that though. I love that.
Appreciate it.
But man, early on, Bill Summers and Summers Heat was one of my first tours. Andy Norell, wonderful steel drum player.
Yes.
Let's see, I had a little stint with Herbie Hancock, a little known keyboard player, you know.
Wow, that's major.
But man, I'll never forget, and this is connected with making sure that we have many hats that we can wear in this craft, you know. And Bill Summers happened to be producing this particular Herbie Hancock record I played on, and Bill hit me up before the session and was like, "Hey man, if you got some songs, if you got some tunes, dude, you know, bring them in, right?" And I'm like, "What? You know, you would consider a song of mine for a Herbie Hancock record?" It's like, you know, but if I didn't have that hat, you know, if I didn't have, you know, that perspective of being able to think broad, being beyond a drummer, you know, that would have been an invitation that I couldn't have taken advantage of. Now, my song idea didn't make it to Herbie's record.
Oh man!
But just the fact that I had an opportunity to sit at the piano and show Herbie my chord changes, and a really funny story, really quickly. I'm sitting at the piano with Mr. Hancock, and we're going over the chart that I brought in, you know, and they had expressed some interest in this one song idea I had, and it was just a short melody and a couple of chords, you know, and so they had heard it and they had learned it and stuff, and I'm sitting at the piano, you know, sharing a couple of inversions with Herbie and blah blah blah, and you know, he went to the bridge and he played just a slightly, you know, incorrect note, you know, and at that point, I'm like, here I am at the piano getting ready to correct Herbie, that's B flat, man. Can you imagine a piano?
I would have been that dude. I would have definitely been that guy.
A legend, a god, a music god behind the, someone that has brought so much to our craft, and here I am correcting him on my little tune. Hey man.
Oh my God! How did that turn out?
Well, we got the song recorded, but it didn't make it to the record. But it didn't matter. It didn't matter. I was already blessed. I was already blessed with the opportunity, and I continue to be. When I was offered the Yellowjackets gig, I came in, and it's a democratic organization. There's really no leader, and everyone is available to co-produce the recordings and contribute to the material as well. So here it is, production knowledge, songwriter, composition, orchestration, all of those responsibilities are boom right in my lap, for a Yellowjackets project. So wow, it's kind of connected with Keep the Gig.
Yes. I wanted to say before you continue on, Will, are you still there? I think there's a pause. Not on our side. I think it's on Will's. But yeah. I was basically about to ask Will that they share writers on those tunes, because like the Yellow and I hope Will's answer is going to be like yes, because of the drum parts, as y'all know, and I spoke about this in a recent. We got you back, Will?
Hey man, I'm sorry.
Cool. Yeah, I was going to ask you, did you guys share writers for that Yellowjackets material?
Yes.
Were you guys all writers?
Amen. Yes.
That's amazing. Yes, I'm so happy that's so dope. Because I'm with CSEC, and I just was on. They had me as a guest for the IG takeover for Black History Month, and I just spoke about like me being friends with 𝗚𝗓𝗧 𝗜𝗓𝗍, rest in peace. And he just gave me stories about when he worked with James Brown, and sometimes they would be in the room jamming, and James would just come in with lyrics and be like, "Hey," but he would take all the credit. Type of publishing. But that was my question. Did you guys have writers? So that's dope. That makes sense, because what those patterns and stuff that you brought so much to the table.
Amen. I feel you.
Those tracks wouldn't have been tracks, those vibes, without your patterns, because a lot of times when you would hear like, man, I'm having a brain melt. But like Wildlife, that particular song, when you hear it, you're thinking it's going to be a certain groove, but you just think so outside of the box. And that's, to me, if they had demo drums, I was like, that's a written part, because that's something that Will thought of. You know what I'm saying? So,
I can't take 100% credit. Of course, the composers of tunes come in with their ideas and their perspective of what they're looking for from the drummer, and that would inspire me. And also, you speak of a tune like Wildlife. That's straight up Africa. That's an Afro-Cuban 6/8, basically what I'm playing. So of course I didn't invent that. Oh, well, maybe I should take credit for it. What do you say?
But there were other tracks like on Greenhouse on that record. Some of those, a lot of them rhythms and stuff that I was like, I ain't heard nobody doing that stuff.
That's an interesting story, actually. So the song you were implying at the beginning of the show, that's a tune called Freedom Land.
Freedom Land. Yes, Freedom Land. Yes.
And that's on the Greenhouse recording, Freedom Land. And there's a drummer in Paris. His name is 𝗲𝗓𝗧 𝗲𝗓𝗧. And I let 𝗲𝗓𝗧 hear the demo for Freedom Land. And he actually, because I was just playing a traditional songo, speaking of songo, I was playing a traditional songo for that song. And he twisted it with what we hear today by adding another component to it. So, you talk about keeping the gig. You guys mentioned relationships and providing a service to the music. I'd say would be another thing. And these sort of things where you are involved with the composition or have an opportunity to create the groove or amplify the groove in a variety of different ways, which is also connected with what that brother told me when I was a young kid, thinking I was going to be the funk king, when I just need to be the music king. I need to bring depth to my playing. And that will allow you to keep a gig when you're providing service to the music and coming with some depth and some history to your playing, right? Which is why we know what an Afro-Cuban 6/8 is. We know what a Brazilian bayon or songo is, you know, and that sort of thing. When an artist can feel the history of music coming out of your playing, that is bringing value to your position in the band and in the organization.
Yes.
Woo!
Yeah, just to add on to what you're saying, like I was telling Chris in our conversation, I'm glad we came up when we did, because we came up post the YouTube era when we had the VHS tapes or the magazines, and we had to figure it out. But it was just such a different experience. And I'll never forget when I got hip to you. I didn't even know how you looked. I just heard you on the record, you know, on the project. But I didn't even know that you was a left-hand drummer, for one. So when I finally got a chance to see you, I was like, that is so crazy. But then knowing your background and your studying, you had all the chops, but your decision making in what to put in those songs, I believe that's what made you keep the gig, how you was able to maintain that gig, because you can play all the chops, you can play all, you know, very diverse of the drummer, but you didn't just play everything. You found the vocabulary that was going to match those tracks, and that's kudos, bro. That's another thing to keep your gig. Find out what it is. So I don't know if do you want to elaborate on that? Like,
no, that's a nail on the head right there, man. Flowers, man. I got flowers for you.
Man, just like, yo, when you hear these records, and what I liked about the Yellowjackets, it seemed like you guys were tackling doing world music, but y'all played it in your own way, which was dope. Amen. But you still found a way to bring your identity, you know what I'm saying, in each of those records, and you played the right fills and stuff to go with that.
Wow. So that hits on an interesting thing. I have the wonderful opportunity to teach drums at the University of Southern California. And a lot of these young players coming up are discovering their sound, discovering their voice behind the kit. And you talk about bringing value to an organization or to an opportunity. If you have a sound like Daru, come on. If anybody got a sound, Chris Coleman. If anybody got a sound, woo, come on. You know it's him. You know it's him.
Yeah, we learn from the best. We learn from watching y'all and taking it in. Like we got to see, because what we saw when we was coming up, we saw a lot of diversity. It wasn't like one drummer and all the drummers sounded alike. It was like you had Will Kennedy, you had Dennis Chambers, you had 𝗚𝗘𝗣𝗑, 𝗚𝗘𝗏, and y'all all sound different. Y'all might listen to the same styles of music, but y'all all have identity. So that's what we got to see.
Amen. And that'll keep you a gig, because if you bring in something unique to the party and yet providing a service to the music, wow, that's what you call value. That's a value right there.
Yeah, it's a blessing when you got the chops, but when you can easygoing person and people can be around you, that's pretty much what it is. You can tell us too, Will, from when you started transitioning from Yellowjackets or the stuff you've done prior, like what were some of the things that you had to do when it was time to make those transitions?
Yeah, I mentioned Andy 𝗟𝗟𝗏, and my opportunity with Andy 𝗟𝗟𝗏, there was already a drummer percussionist in the band, and his name was Kenneth Nash. And so Andy just had this idea to bring in a player to handle some of the drum responsibilities, so Kenneth wouldn't have to play drum kit and percussion at the same time. He wanted to have someone that was completely focused on drums and Kenneth to be able to do the percussion. And that situation was challenging for me because, there's a reason why what you're sitting on is called the drum throne. The drum throne. You have all power, and you can make or break a gig very easily, not only because of where you are in the hierarchy of a band, but also your access to volume and the whole dynamic component.
Yes,
and
yes,
we can ruin a gig.
Facts. Facts.
But on the other side, we can make a gig blossom. We can make a tune just be the best performance, of that song or interpretation of that song. And anyway, there's a lot of power in that throne you're sitting on. And Kenneth Nash had the throne and the percussion, the ear candy, the icing on the top. And so with this little young man, Will Kennedy, coming in, I think I might have been like 18, 17 or something.
Wow.
And, I had to learn how to be a contributor, but sit underneath all of this music that was being created with a large part with the percussion. And how sometimes it could be challenging when you feel like you have some ideas and you want to speak those ideas. You want to, this is something I've been working on, or this tune will be great for this little chop thing, right? And then you realize that, okay, well, wait a minute. Am I doing something that is being a contribution to this musical experience, or am I creating a distraction to the musical experience?
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So that sort of decision making, that sort of perspective where you are thinking of bringing a service to the music, which could sometimes mean that chop idea you've been working on is not appropriate.
It's not the look. Not the look.
You won't be getting no flowers.
Green or black.
Daru, man, I so appreciate you, man. You've created so much opportunity, not only for yourself, but for the people you consider your heroes, and also the people coming up, man. And you've been such a wonderful inspiration to so many people, man, with your unique voice, your unique approach to the drum kit. Look at them drums all tilted to the side. Come on,
man. But like I said, I appreciate it, Will. I really do. But like I said, I learned from watching you, because you've always had a unique setup as well.
Amen.
Even just from playing lefty and just your whole presentation from the ground up. That's what I saw. So I'm thankful. I'm thankful for you for what you've done and what you continue to do. And one of the biggest things that you've helped for me and Chris, as far as being an example, is just showing us how to be independent.
Wow.
Where you can be out here and you don't have to have a gig, but you can be out being a clinician.
Yes.
Doing lessons. And that's such a blessing, because you got to have at some point the entrepreneur mentality, because you never know, the budgets might get cut.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And you may get laid off.
Right. Or it might be a pandemic somewhere. Uh-oh.
Exactly. So you're right. So y'all was already doing that back in the days. You guys had instructional VHS tapes coming out. Y'all had books. Y'all were already thinking like that. So that's what we saw. But it's such cool, just as an example, how God has blessed you. You still inspiration to us both. And I'm still, every time I see you now, it's just like I'm hearing you for the first time, because you're very innovative. You still had the same aggressive, and just your spirit. That's what it is your energy. You can tell that you have this undertone spiritual thing, and we can appreciate that, because a lot of times people, they don't let the spiritual man come out front. You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
And it's a battle. It's a battle because you got the ego, because you got chops, but then you got to be able to learn how to tame it and use it when it's necessary.
There you go.
So I want to give you your flowers too, bro. We really appreciate all what you've done and what you continue to do. Also, letting us know that we can be independent and we can survive and keep the lights on.
Yeah, right.
So is there anything else that you want to add, Brother Will? I don't want to keep you too long. I know
it's all good. I wanted to share my email actually with your listeners, and I have a free gift that I'm giving away, which includes a play along of Freedom Land, the song you were playing at the very top of the show.
God.
And I got to get it to you, bro. So you know,
I need that, brother. I need that. I need that. Matter of fact, I remember when you did that double. You did a dual drum video with, I forgot the other guy's name. You had to play alongs.
Bob Gatson is his name. Yeah, yes. God bless him too. He's actually not in the best of health these days, so we send him good vibes. But Bob Gatson is a genius, man. He innovated so many products for the drum kit and brought so much to our craft. But anyway, that video was called "Be a Drumhead" with me and Bob Gatson. Yeah. Yo,
that instructional videotape cracked my head. It was so ahead of its time. But what was so dope about it was Will and Bob, they gave you the opportunity to play with the drumless tracks, so you can become Will.
So you can be Will, but then be yourself at the same time.
Exactly. So I used to use those when I started doing clinics. You know, when I was younger, that's what I used to play to. Wow. And I was like, that's so cool that you guys were humble enough to offer your tracks for other musicians to place themselves. You know, those are, and they were very versatile. I don't know, is it still available, or is that?
You know what? I don't think that's available anymore. However, this free gift I'm giving away now, you can get it through an email note to me at willsmusicroom@gmail.com. And check it out. Oh man, Jules is on it. Wow.
Jules.
You know what? Give that woman some flowers.
Shout out to Jules.
Yes, send an email note to me, and I'll give this free gift to you with the Freedom Land play along and a few other little drumming tidbits. And for those who are interested, come on over to Will's Music Room.
Yo, go get it out, and I want to also shine some light on. We had the opportunity to do like a trio. Oh my God, it was crazy too. Maybe a few years back.
Was that Minneapolis? Where was that? Milwaukee.
It was Milwaukee at the Casio drum store. They brought us together to do. They have it's like a workshop they do once a year, and I was invited, and I couldn't believe when they was like, Will Kennedy, one of my heroes, was going to be in the beat. I was like, word. And then they had Joe, what's his name? Joe Slayer.
Yes, Slayer. Yes,
Slayer, amazing drummer too.
Yes, amazing. He's the drummer on the Colbert show.
Yes. Yo, and it was so dope. That was my first time seeing Will, but it was so humbling just being on stage, and then watch Will jump and play my kit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
It was so humbling. But what was crazy, Will stepped up to the plate because I had percussions, and he made my drum sing. Even though different setup, he still made it work, and that was humbling to see that. It was just so dope. Also, to be in that environment, looking out in the audience and seeing Will, and then we did this trio jam with Joe. It was so killing. It was so. Oh my God, and I was almost in tears when Will started playing along to like Freedom Land, and because it just took me back to a teenager when things, things were easy back then. No bills, you know what I'm saying? It was just like,
I wish we could get busy now, dude. I wish, Yo,
we got to do something with me, you, and Chris.
Yeah.
Me and Chris will do something.
Yeah. I saw he had his bass over there, that bass, 4 or 5 string bass back there.
Man, but yo, shout out to Chris, and I want to give a big thank you to our brother Will. Do you have anything else you want to add before we close?
No, I'm good, man. God bless you. Thank you for this opportunity to share with your people, and I look forward to hearing from anyone that's interested in some of the things I have to offer.
Before you go, Will, do we have any questions, Jules? My bad, I forgot the questions. Everybody, they just was listening. Everybody wanted to listen. You have so much knowledge. But y'all, if y'all are not familiar with all of Will's, you got some shout outs.
Great interview. All right. Amen. Thank you. Good stuff.
What up, Lee? Oh, David. Thank you, guys. But y'all, please go back and check out those Yellowjackets records, volume 1 through 100. It's the records that Will is on, though. The records that Will is on is going to change your life. that's just his approach, you know, his approach to playing those records, and that's his spirit. And what I like about Will too, he always find time in his clinics to talk about the spiritual man, which we definitely need nowadays. Chris
said, "Teach me how to play Freedom Land." I got to play along for you, bro. I got to play along.
Yo, we got to figure out how to juice. We got to figure out how we can do multiple people on the chat, so we can double up. Hey, get Chris up there and double it up. But yeah, but Will, thanks so much for your time, bro. I'm wishing you many blessings. Hope you're safe wherever you at. I know you're in some snow. You down in the snow, right?
Yeah, Texas. We just finished with it. It's 70 degrees today, though.
Okay.
So the snow came and went. Praise the Lord.
So are your peoples, everybody safe down there? Because I know they have some situations.
Yeah. God is good, man. Everybody's good over here, and the heat is on and the power is on. Praise the Lord.
Yo, Will, I love you, brother. We appreciate you. Looking forward to us getting together in the physical, whether we got to do some type of vaccine or something.
Baby.
You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate your time. Thanks so much for all what you've done for the community. I'm wishing you many blessings. Salute.
All right. Thank you, Daru.
Appreciate you. Y'all, thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate y'all sticking around. We know that there was a delay, but thank you guys for all of the questions. Also want to shout out Ben Sanders for allowing me to come in this beautiful studio. Barnfire. Got good rates here. Got good sounds here if y'all ever need, want to block out some hours. I've actually recorded drums here, and I actually may have to work here tomorrow. But yeah, good studio if you're in Nashville, in Berry Hills. They basically got us an area where they call Studio Row, and that's basically where this is located. I want to thank my co-host Jules for holding us down, and I'm going to try to play a little piece before I leave. I can never be Will, you know what I'm saying, but I'm going to try to flip it. But I also want to shout out my other guest, Chris Coleman, my brother. Much love to both of those brothers. They doing their thing. Check them out. Do your Googles. Research them. Thank y'all for sticking around. My name is Daru Jones. God bless. See you soon. Peace. Oh, yeah, so let me switch this over and try to play something real quick.